Foreign nationals, I have an amazing investment opportunity for you. And here's what I mean by that. For foreign national home loans and to invest in the United States real estate, the time has never been easier in terms of mortgage financing. I've been in the mortgage business for since 2003, so many decades. And I in the industry for the most part have avoided doing a lot of foreign national home loans. And it's been very niche product mainly because of what it used to take to get these loans done. It would take a whole bunch of just, foreign credit reports and translating documents from one language to another and all these other different, red tapes and hoops to jump through. But here's what's crazy. It is now changed. It is so streamlined. It is amazing. So for foreign nationals to get an actual foreign national home loan and to invest in the United States, like it is so easy. Here's what we need. All right, let me start with here's what we don't need. Right? What we don't need is I no longer need a credit report. I no longer need employment information. I don't need income information. So I don't care what your credit looks like. I don't care how much you make or don't make. I'm not going to know and don't care. The reality is when we do this, we are treating this as an investment property that you're going to buy in the United States. So whether or not you actually want to rent it out is up to you, but we're going to treat it as an investment property. You're welcome to stay there. You can come visit, do whatever you do as a foreign national. You come in, you're welcome to stay. If you want to buy it for a kiddo who's going to university here, or if you just want to invest in the United States real estate as a foreign national, you can do whatever you want. So as an investment property, what we're going to do is get a rental analysis, and that's going to determine if you qualify or not. So in other words, a third party, an appraiser, is going to go out and do a rental analysis on the property, and if that number, whatever that rental market is, whatever that rent is for that market, if it's greater than your mortgage payment, equal to or greater than, you're good. So again, no income, no employment, no credit. So for foreign national home loans, it couldn't be easier. What do you need? So you're thinking, okay, cool. I want to do this. For funds to close for a foreign national mortgage, you're going to need 30% down payment. And that 30% just and the closing cost, right? 30% plus the closing cost. That money needs to be in a U.S. banking institution 10 days before closing. That's it. Any reserves and all your other money can stay where it's at. Stay in your home account, wherever it is. Don't care, don't need it. All I do need to verify document is 6 months reserves. So people are like, well, what's that mean? Well, if the mortgage payment on this new house or this new home is going to be 4 grand a month, let's just make that up. And that's the all-in payment, the taxes, the insurance, the mortgage. If it's 4 grand, we need to document 24,000 bucks. 6 months times 4 grand. And again, that can be in your home account. The US account that we're setting up for you or that you set up, we don't set it up. You set it up, you find your own bank. It needs to be open 10 days before closing. And again, your down payment plus your closing costs need to be in there. But that's also where we're going to draft that mortgage payment from. And it will be the full mortgage payment. It'll be the taxes, insurance, all that together. That's where the auto draft will set up for each month for your mortgage payment. So again, as a foreign national, you'll need to just set up your bank account somewhere in the United States, right? A U.S. banking financial institution, 10 days before closing, then set up the auto draft, and you're golden. So again, to qualify for a foreign national home loan, no credit, no income, no employment, just the money that we need to verify for the closing cost and the reserves, and then you're good. So for a foreign national home loan to invest in United States real estate, you will need potentially visa and or passport or both. And here's why. I can't, but I'll put a link down below. There are some countries, like let's take Canada, because that's the super easy one. The Canadians, to our neighbors in the north, the Great White North, they don't even need a valid passport. It can be expired. All they need is a passport. Even if it's expired, we can take it. For most, we will need either a valid passport and or a visa. So there is a list of countries, and I'll put it down here. The State Department, the U.S. State Department, we have a visa waiver program. So I don't need to show the visas. I just need to show a valid passport. I'll put those countries below. So for example, like we talked about Canada, I know parts of UK, Australia, Ireland. Those are, we see a lot of those that do come over here. So I would say that there are a bunch of countries, check that out. What we can't, well, let me finish this part. On the visas, the B1, B2 is the most common that we see. So if you're not on that list of countries where we can just use the passports, these visas for foreign nationals, B1, B2 is the most common. But I will put down below the other visas that are acceptable when doing this foreign national home loan. So the ineligible borrowers, and every once in a while, it's not often, but every once in a while, we do get somebody that calls and we can't help them because anybody that's a resident of a country that's not permitted to transact with the business in the United States company is ineligible. And this is determined by the U.S. government, not me, not our company. But if OFAC has a sanctioned country, those are also ineligible. So again, check out the list below of countries and whether or not you need a visa or passport, and if you're eligible or not eligible. Those are just things we'll have to find out when we do this. But to be a foreign national and to get a foreign national home loan to invest in United States real estate, as I mentioned earlier, it is going to be treated like an investment property. So you can use this like a short-term rental. You can use this for a long-term rental. You can use it for your personal use. It's up to you. You do what you want. The property type. So in the United States, residential real estate is defined as properties from 1 to 4 units, meaning 5 units and above. That's a commercial loan. That's not what this is for. 1 to 4 units. You can also buy condominiums, both warrantable and non-warrantable. You're like, well, what's the difference? Don't worry about it. You will need to worry about once you find the condo. Just know that we can do both, and that's a really good thing. So you don't need to worry about like, is this condo going to work or not? We can do both warrantable and non-warrantable. As far as the deed and how you hold title and the ownership, you can do it in your personal name, or you can do it in an LLC, a limited liability company. So for foreign nationals coming in, a lot of times we'll see investment clubs, and you can have up to 4 people on that LLC, and there's no seasoning requirement, meaning you can literally just make this LLC brand new and use it for the purpose of buying this U.S. investment as a foreign national. So it's really great in that sense. And then the other piece that's really cool, there's no actual limit on the number of properties that you can own. So if you own rental properties in other countries or some of the United States, we don't care. We don't have that limit. What we do care about is if you do own property in the United States, we will need to just verify that everything's been paid on time. So while we don't do a credit report, we do want some sort of verification of mortgage. We want to make sure that the mortgage payments on the U.S.-based properties are paid on time. We want to make sure the taxes are good, insurance, all that stuff. Just want to make sure that you are paying your taxes, your insurance, and your mortgage on your U.S.-based real estate. So as a foreign national, if you own other stuff outside, I don't care. But if anything U.S.-based, I'm going to need to get some sort of payment history just to verify that you're paying those bills on time. So now the big one, right? Let's talk interest rates. So people that are foreign nationals that are coming in, they want to get a foreign national home loan. They want to invest in the United States. Like, what's the rate? Because obviously now it's so streamlined, as I mentioned, no credit, no income, no employment. I don't need any of that stuff. The best part is these rates are super competitive. I mean, it's really impressive what these rates can be. And you can structure them a whole bunch of different ways. So let's talk about it. So for those that don't know, discount points or points, using air quotes here, points are paid in exchange for a lower interest rate. So if you say, okay, today's rate, and let's say it's a half point higher than normal market rate. So the normal rate, might be whatever it is, X. If somebody wants to pay points to buy down that interest rate, money up front at closing, paid only one time at closing, in exchange for a lower interest rate, you can totally do that. So I've seen folks pay 2, 3, 4, and 5 points to get that interest rate lowered where it makes sense for them and the property will cash flow. And again, people think, oh, 2 points, 3 points, that seems like a lot. It is and it isn't. For a loan that doesn't need any of this documentation, it's crazy competitive. So for those that don't know, a point, just to be very clear, is 1%. 1 point is 1% of your loan amount. So if the loan amount's 400 grand, that means you got a $4,000 is 1 point. Half a point would be $2,000 in that example. So points can be paid. That's why your interest rate can be up or down, whatever you want it to be. Another option as a foreign national, and because this is an investment property that you're investing in the United States, the prepayment penalties are available. You can have a 3-year or a 5-year prepayment penalty. So what is a prepayment penalty? The lender would like to make and needs to make, and they think, oh, we're going to make this loan and we're going to get this type of investment and yield in our loan. And so what a prepayment penalty does, it says, okay, we, the investing community, we will give a lower interest rate to somebody if they put a prepayment penalty on the loan. So for a 3-year prepay, we'll lower the rate because we know we're going to have it for 3 years. In the event the loan gets paid off before that 3-year period, a penalty will be assessed and the lender will make back their money, right? It's at closing, they'll just get paid whatever that prepayment amount is so that they're guaranteed the return that they were expecting. A 5-year, you get an even lower rate. But again, if you sell or refinance or pay off that loan within that 5-year period, the penalty is assessed, and therefore, again, more money is going to come back to the lender so they get their guaranteed amount. So that's what prepayment penalties do. They can drive down your rate. and get it to where it's more advantageous for you, and maybe it cash flows if that's going to be an investment property you are going to make. So the last piece that I think is incredibly cool for foreign nationals is you can get a foreign national home loan with interest only. And what an interest only means is that your monthly payment is lower because you're only going to pay interest on the balance that's outstanding. So a normal mortgage, air quotes, will have principal and interest. An interest only feature, you're paying just the interest. So every month your payment can change based on what your outstanding balance is. It's a normal 30-year loan that you get the loan for the full 30 years. It's just for that first 10 years, you're paying interest only. And so that helps it cash flow. So let's say in the example, if we talked about if it's a $4,000 a month payment, doing a principal and interest and, the taxes and insurance and all that in there, if now the interest only lowers it a couple, maybe that helps it cash flow, whether it's for qualifying or just in general, if somebody wants it. But typically, interest only adds about a quarter to half point in rate. It varies, so don't quote me on that. But the reality is, it doesn't add that much for such a cool feature. So, as a foreign national, if you already own homes here in the United States, you've already invested. So, foreign national home loans, when you invest in the United States, the cool part is if you've already done that, we can help refinance if that's what you do. Whether you want to refinance and just lower the interest rate, or you actually want to refinance and take cash out so you can go buy another home loan in the United States, or you can go buy another home in the United States, you can do that. The one catch is that the loan, if there is an existing mortgage on that house or home, it does need to be with a U.S. financial institution. So if there's an existing mortgage, it needs to be a U.S. bank that has that mortgage for us to refinance it. So just keep that in mind. But ultimately, I'm telling you, if you're a foreign national and you want to invest in America, real estate, it is a phenomenal asset class. And like I mentioned, to do a foreign national home loan to invest in U.S. real estate, it has never been easier. So Mortgage Mark, reach out to us. We are here to help. MortgageMark.com is our website. And we were happy to take good care of you. And certainly as you move forward at anything real estate in the United States, I want you to do one thing. And I want you to, when you think about mortgage, I want you to think about Mark.